Rachel at the Crystal Tree, and today I'm going to be talking about how to dye wool. So when you first start to dye wool, you have to consider that what type of wool do you need? Well, I purchased this wool batting. You can see it in the camera here. It was $8 for half a pound from a local person here that I purchased it from. But this is a nice batting. Batting wool is pulls apart real easily. You usually use it underneath your characters, like this particular one I made here, the dragon. I actually, she's first made out of this, and then the more expensive color that I purchased, I put over the top of her. And then with this guy here that I made, I actually did the wool that is on his head in the green and the blue here, and I purchased the skin color. But for dyeing for my first time when I was experimenting, I felt the colors came out quite nicely. And I believe this was done with Kool-Aid. And Kool-Aid is what I'm going to talk about, and then also food colorings that you can use to dye your wool. And I like to use llama wool because that's what the local person carries, what I purchased. So the different types that you can use are, here's a Kool-Aid brand that I've used. I didn't pay hardly anything for it, and you can sometimes get them in a pack. I've also used this brand, and it works just the same. And I've also used food coloring. I have a neon and then a normal color. And I'm actually going to show you how some of my neon colors came out when I dyed them. So after dyeing, I went ahead and did, I believe it's pearlescent pink, which looks like this. So you can see it matches the top of his bottle. And I felt it came out. There's some places where it didn't quite dye, but that's okay. It's just because I didn't stir it enough when I was dyeing. But I really think that that came out nice. The lime green didn't quite come out the right color. It came out more of a yellow, but sometimes in different angles it does look lime green. Like right now in my hands, I can tell this is a lime green, because if I get the yellow that I've dyed with the yellow food coloring, you can see the difference. This looks like a light yellow compared to the actual yellow that I have. So it was fun. I had never actually dyed with neon colors before, so that I felt that was kind of interesting how that came out. And then I went ahead and tried using a different brand. I used some icing color, red from, I believe it's called Wilton, and it didn't actually dye very well. This red I didn't actually use. I used a black because I wanted black wool, and my black wool actually looks like this. This is how my black wool came out. I mean, it's an interesting look, but as you can see, it's more purple than black, and so I wasn't too happy to know that this stuff that I bought didn't work. And it's kind of a gel. I don't really get any of it on me, but it's like a congealed gel. You can see it there, and it really doesn't work. I've tried using it in my bath bombs, because I do make bath bombs, and I don't actually like to use this on my bath bombs. It doesn't really work. It's not nice, and you can use this, and it's skin safe, you know, because you eat it. But I didn't like how it came out in my bath bombs. It was just really gross. It left too many red big dots in my stuff when I stirred it. But one thing you have to learn about when you're actually going to go ahead and put this in the water, and you're going to start to get ready to dye it, to change the color, is the first mistake I made was that I read somewhere that you're supposed to put it like in lukewarm water, then bring your water to boiling, and then put it in there so you won't shock the wool. And what I mean by shocking the wool is what the mistake I made on this color, and I went ahead and used it because I wasn't going to waste that much color. As you can see, it kind of mats together, and these were shocked. You can see it's a little bit harder to pull them apart. They have kind of a chunkiness to them that if that's the kind of look you're going for, go ahead and do that. But if you want your roving to stay nice and smooth and not so chunky, what I suggest you can do is this. I take it, I stick it in just normal tap water, put it on the oven, and actually bring it to a boiling. And then once it's boiling, that's when I'm going to add the color. And I let the color sit for like maybe 3 or 4 minutes. And then I go ahead and add a table of vinegar, white vinegar, into it. And I let it sit for another 3 or 4 minutes until the color is soaked up into the wool. And it will actually do that. That's the way it sets it, because right now if you just put the color in there and then you wash it off, it's going to just wash off. It's not going to stay in the wool. The vinegar is what sets it. So you want to do a tablespoon of vinegar in the boiling water, and then give it a few minutes for this to soak up the dye. And then you go and run it under hot water to rinse it off, and the dye won't come out. It actually stays. It will actually turn out, looking like this. And today I'm actually going to do orange, and right now I'm going to show you how I put it into the pot. Got me on camera? I'm good? Okay. Thank you. So, big spoon here. You don't want to put it directly on to the wool. I actually have the wool in here right now, and I'm actually want you to get an up close look of what this looks like. So just give me one moment. Hi, this is me dyeing it. You can see me adding the color. I'm trying to keep this dye away from the wool so I can stir it up a little bit. And this is normal to see it kind of this color. And then you kind of just stir it around. And you can see this is hot because there's steam coming out of it. I don't know if you can see it on camera. And then you let it sit and let it boil for a few minutes. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like when I put the vinegar in. Hey again. So I just wanted to show you real quick here that sometimes especially when you use the Kool-Aid, you don't actually have to use the vinegar to actually for the wool to actually pull up and take the color. Sometimes it will actually do that. As you can see, the water is no longer orange and that the wool is orange. I'm actually going to put some vinegar in here though, just in case, because I don't want it to wash out. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I take about a tablespoon of vinegar and just put it in there. And it doesn't matter if it gets on the wool. You don't have to be too particular about it. And then you kind of just stir it a little bit. And then I give it a few more minutes. As you can see, the water is a different color. And it just depends on what they washed your wool with. And another thing, this pot that I'm using is a pot I do not eat out of. You can, like I said, I use these tools here. But the thing is, you can, if you wash your tools thoroughly. I dye all the time with this pot. I don't eat out of this pot. I don't think you're going to get hurt from it because it's just wool, but there could be chemicals that they use on the llama wool, and you don't want repeatedly using the same, tools on your stuff. So I'll just show you that, and then I'll rinse it off, and you can see what the wool's going to look like. Hi, so I'm back again, and as you can see, it's now orange. And it took the color quite well. I washed it off, rinsed it and everything. As you can see, it's still wet, but I'll just let it dry. By tomorrow afternoon, it should be ready to go and ready to use. And it won't shrink. And that's all I had to do to color my wool. And I have another video I'm going to be showing soon on how to make wool balls. And these ones I actually hand dyed myself and rolled. So I want to show you a video on how to do that. So please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.